Am I the a-hole for waxing my 5-year-old daughter's unibrow? So my 5-year-old daughter has a pretty thick dark unibrow, that is very noticeable. Because of COVID, her preschool was online, therefore she was never bullied for having it. However, this past summer her cousins came over to visit and many of them teased her for her unibrow. They'd call her countless names, and at just 5 years old my daughter already thinks she is ugly. It breaks my heart because nobody, let alone a 5-year-old, should think they are ugly. I reassure my daughter she is beautiful and not to listen to her cousins, but my daughter still believes she is ugly. In a week she is starting kindergarten, and I really do not want the bullying to get worse there. So yesterday I took it in my hands to wax her unibrow. I didn't shape them or anything, just waxed the middle off to get rid of her unibrow. My daughter was elated looking in the mirror and calling herself so pretty. It warmed my heart to see her so confident in herself, but I made sure to remind her she was beautiful both ways. When my husband came home my daughter was so excited to show him her eyebrows. In front of her he called her beautiful, but after she left we had a huge fight. He said it was horrible of me to be subjecting my 5-year-old daughter to beauty standards. And that at such a young age I'm pushing it on her, instead of telling her she is beautiful the way she is. And no 5-year-old should be waxing their eyebrows, and I'm pushing the mentality that she is only beautiful without her unibrow. And that my daughter is too young to know what she wants and she should have been able to make her decision to wax it off when she is old enough. I truly understand all the points he has made, however my daughter told me she wanted to get rid of her unibrow. And I didn't want her to grow up with the bullying and teasing and blame me because I could have prevented it. I, a female, have very dark and thick arm and leg hair. I got called half-ape all through elementary. I would come home and cry for an hour daily. Mom offered to me that I could wax. I did. It helped my self-esteem. Now that I'm in my 20s I've just stopped caring. I have more important things to worry about. But I still think my mom did that right thing. Edit, thank you to everyone who gave an award and/or an upvote. I did not expect this level of response. It's honestly a bit disheartening to see how many people resonated with my comment. For everyone who experienced this type of ridicule as a child, I hope you are healing from the hurt it caused, and know that you are wonderful people who did not deserve the ridicule. Gosh, this brought back memories. I made the horrid mistake, one time, of not wearing a bra to school in 8th grade. I was flatter chested than most of the boys in my school, so I didn't see a point in wearing what basically amounted to a tank top under my shirt in 90 degrees plus DX heat. No one would have been able to tell except we had to dress out for P. You would have thought I was either the worst country bumpkin or the biggest slut. I ended up spending the day in the nurse's office with a headache and that night crying into my pillow. My mom, hippie that she still is, didn't understand the issue with me going braless. I honestly think about that day more often than I should 20 plus years later. You are most definitely NTA. Of course your daughter is beautiful no matter what, but she shouldn't have to endure the taunts and jeers of others if there is something so simple to avoid it. NTA and agreed. I got bullied in middle school because I didn't shave my legs yet. Kids are cruel. Waxing or plucking or bleaching are not permanent. Mom could have discussed it with the husband first, but based on his response he would not have been receptive. I don't remember my dad ever discussing body hair removal with my mom about me. Kind of a ladies thing. I'd help my daughter remove a unibrow. It's nice to think by retaining a unibrow daughter can single-handedly change beauty standards. Meanwhile back on planet Earth mom did something proactive that made her daughter happy. My mom taught me how to bleach my unibrow in middle school. When I become an adult I electrologized it off. As long as daughter wants to do it, she should be allowed. My mom was kind of like that. Even though I begged for years, she never let me shave until I was 13. The worst part is that I'm half Hispanic, so my hair is dark on my legs and arms. My mom is very white though, so she never had to experience this. Just last weekend, my mom gave me a few journals she'd found when clearing my old room. I actually sucked at journaling, so the entries were pretty sparse, but literally half of the entries I found beginning in 4th grade and up were about how much I hated being the weirdo who couldn't shave. There were lines saying how embarrassed I was to be the only one in my class who couldn't shave, and there was even a stick figure that looked like Sasquatch. I honestly don't remember hating myself that much, but clearly my mom's rule hurt me. I mean, I was only 10 and likened myself to a hairy urban legend. Now that I'm older, I have a daughter too, and I've made it clear to my husband that at the first instance of her asking, within reason, of course, I will let my daughter shave. I never want my daughter to feel as horrible in her skin as I did growing up. NTA. Ops husband's self-righteousness, and this is only going to hurting their kid. I'm also going to go ahead and assume the father here doesn't swan around the world with a 2-foot-long unkempt beard, dressed in a Hessian loincloth with a pair of plastic bags tied to his feet, is chewing all common standards of dress and personal presentation. Because we shouldn't play into society's ridiculous ideas of beauty. But people do. That's how the world works. And sure, there's a gray area. It's a judgment call on which of these standards we perpetuate and which we go along with. But the ones that make your 5-year-old feel better about herself and help avoid unnecessary bullying? Yeah, those are probably not the ones to take for a ride on the old moral high horse. NTA. I get what everyone means about how you shouldn't be forcing something like this on a 5-year-old, but it's not like you removed a finger. It's hair. The fact is, beauty standards are kind of imposed at a young age. First by other kids, and then upheld through adulthood. And if your daughter was upset about something, I'm glad you had the guts to do something about it to try to improve how she views herself. You're a great parent, and 5-year-old me would have appreciated help instead of being told I was too young for such a simple solution. If your kid is like the kids in my family, I'd say it was only a matter of time until she figured out how a shaving razor works, and messily fixed it herself. Between probably not even 5 minutes to wax it, or 5 years of ridicule until she's old enough, I would say you did the right thing. Former hairy, female, kid here. I'm half Italian and could grow a mustache like Tom Selleck back in the day. I look at pictures of the very dark hair on my legs and arms and cringe. I got all kinds of teasing and name calling for having all that extra hair. I wish my mom would have done something, but she didn't. It's so precious that your husband wants to change society's standards, but don't start with a kid. Perhaps he should start wearing dresses to work and see what happens? If you were taking the child to get hair color and highlights, that's a waste of money, imho. But what you did is not much different than getting braces or a cap on a broken tooth. Yes, I know there are medical reasons to fix both. If she had ears that stuck out like car doors, wouldn't you have those fixed? This is not much different. You did the right thing. NTA. You know what? No, a 5-year-old shouldn't have to wax or worry about the state of their eyebrows, but if it makes your little one even slightly more comfortable and happy, then it's worth doing. Help her with the hair as she grows and teach her that she's beautiful either way, and she'll grow and decide if she wants to keep waxing etc. later on. As for right now, kids are cruel and life as a kid and then a teenager is hard enough without worrying about eyebrow hair. Do what you need to make that part easier for her. NTA. I had the exact same issue as your daughter. I had the mustache, the unibrow, and the dark arm and leg hair. I got bullied every day by not only my classmates, but every grade that rode the bus with me. They called me a Sasquatch, bear, freak, everything. While I never really said it bothered me and laughed, it left me with so many insecurities that my mom bought me my first razor in 3rd grade, and taught me how to tweeze my eyebrows in 2nd. I knew how to do those years before my other classmates. It wasn't until I graduated high school that I stopped shaving my arms. Your husband doesn't know what she's dealing with, and the trauma that will follow her entire life over this. She should get to decide if she wants to grow it back. You're doing the right thing. And I'm glad you stopped it before her worst memories from elementary school would start. I'm fair-haired, but I have peach fuzz facial hair that I didn't even notice honestly until an absolutely charming girl commented nice mustache to me at school one sunny day. I guess in the sunlight my peach fuzz was very obvious. I was 16, and was already bullied for my weight and other stuff. I shaved as soon as I found out about lady facial razors. I'm 47 and I've never forgotten. You absolutely did the right thing.